This is why they want to get rid of trans people in media, right? This is why they want to get rid of mentions of trans people in books, TV shows, movies, etc., because they don't want the public to be able to see, like, oh, these trans people, they're literally just people like everybody else. You know, they eat and sleep like everybody else. They go to a job that they hate to pay the bills like everybody else. They don't want that because the dehumanization is the point. Actually, there have been a lot of tweets including this, but I think actually the best one is this one. So this tweet is popping off from a man on the street style video that a lot of different content creators are just doing all the time now, I guess. Let us see.
So what's your name?
Emily.
Emily? Like Emily Watson?
Like Emily James.
Emily James. Hey, how often do you cut your hair?
Never.
Never?
No, I do porn. Yeah.
What type of scenes do you do?
Transgender.
Wait, what?
Are you a trans?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you messing with me?
I'm for real. I have a whole penis.
Can you not cut your hair in porn? No, you're not allowed to.
Yeah, they had us the first half. I'm not gonna lie.
So what's your...
And this video is popping the fuck off. What's funny is the original has like not even 10K likes yet, but it has 1.6 million views. It is very true. It's like people are surprised when we both A, don't pretend we're not trans, and B, don't look like a caricature. Wow. Now, of course, the reason why this happens is because she's pretty, and that's the main thing, right? Like, if you are, 1, white, and 2, sufficiently pass enough, and are pretty enough by Western standards of beauty, then it seems like a lot of trans... And I'm not saying the person in the video doing the interview is transphobic, I don't know that. But like, it seems like at that point, people are willing to give you a pass, which is what this video really illustrates. Not only, like, obviously, also that we can always tell things not real, blah, 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 blah. And it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting things you could say about this. Like, representation matters, I would say, is one of the things you could get from this. Because, like, the majority of times, people are going to see trans people, like, on the right, is going to be caricature drawings or like a select few trans women that they don't find to be visually appealing or whatever that they use to make fun of trans people and blah, 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 which is cringe and not cool. But like having representation in a broad sense is good for this reason, not just because, you know, she's a pretty trans woman and happens to be white, so people are willing to give her a pass, but also like it's just good to have examples, right? This is why they want to get rid of trans people in media, right? This is why they want to get rid of mentions of trans people in books, TV shows, movies, etc., because they don't want the public to be able to see, like, oh, these trans people, they're literally just people like everybody else. You know, they eat shit and sleep like everybody else. They go to a job that they hate to pay the bills like everybody else. They don't want that because the dehumanization is the point. They want to have, like, the broader public's conception of trans people to be this caricaturized, dehumanized example of the things that they are always saying about trans people, so that the general public is more willing to go along with oppression of trans people. It's very cringe, but that's the reason. And the reason why that can potentially work is because trans people are a pretty big minority in the population. There aren't that many, right? More and more people are willing to be out and visible about it. So it seems like, oh, there's a surge of people because, you know, social stigma around trans people has progressed recently, which is why the right is fighting so hard to reduce that amount of progress and regress. But, you know, because like what's really annoying is that there are cis women that look like the caricatures of trans women that right-wingers use, right? There are cis women that look like the people that right-wingers find to be ugly or whatever, the trans women that right-wingers find to be ugly or whatever. There are cis women that look like that as well. So, like, that also hurts cis women. But obviously, right-wingers don't care about women broadly, past their ability to give birth. So, like, but, like, there are cis women that can look like that. And much the same way, trans women can also look like that. And it's totally fine. Like, you don't have to be a Giga Stacy passoid trans woman or trans man, I guess a Giga Chad at that point, in order to be a beautiful person. It's just annoying that that's the main thing that will help the general public kind of understand that, oh, this is just a fucking person. Why do I give a shit about their life as much as the right wants me to? Even Rowling has been unironically clocked when left unnamed in memes. Yeah. Or like Sigourney Weaver, blah, blah, blah. It's very dumb. Anyway, what's up, Beetle Moses? I think a lot of people who don't live in bigger cities have just never met / gotten to know a trans person. Yeah, exactly. Which is why if you're a right-winger and you feed people who have literally never met a trans person in real life a bunch of caricatures, use dehumanizing rhetoric and all this kind of shit, that's what they're gonna think of all trans people as being. Which is why popular media representation is important. And the unfortunate thing is that if you're hot, it makes people more likely to accept you because they find you attractive, right? It kind of disarms people if you're like very hot, especially men. Which is why you have the meme of transphobic men enjoying trans porn when nobody's looking, you know? It's like, there was a tweet that popped off from some redacted motherfucker on Twitter where he was like, oh, Matt Walsh claiming that Dylan Mulvaney will never be, you know, a woman and will never be attractive as a woman or whatever, which is patently false. Even before Dylan Mulvaney's FFS, she was pretty. But like, this is what you should know as a trans person. Going into your transition, people will always see you as like a bastardization of womanhood and will never see you as or whatever. Like that kind of shit. That's not a real thing. That's the thing they want to be, you know, they want to make happen. I say this all the time too. Like We Can Always Tell, it's a statement of intent, not a statement of fact. They want to be always able to tell because they want to always be able to oppress trans people. This is part of the reason why they want to get rid of gender affirming care for all ages, right? If you restrict a person's ability to access gender-affirming healthcare, you make it easier to clock those people because HRT can change your fat distribution, et cetera, in ways that make you less clockable, I guess, that make you pass better, which is why it's called gender-affirming care, because the point is to be able to be seen in society as the gender you identify as. The reason why they want to get rid of that is because they want to make it easier for them to identify the bad people in society, aka trans people to right-wingers. I'm all over the place talking about this shit right now. God damn. And I did say earlier that the fact that she's white is also massively important because black cis women have been denied womanhood or like full womanhood or treated as like second class kinds of women or different kinds of women by right wingers for a long time, even like white women, and some of which are ostensibly feminist, right? They are seen as more masculine, they are seen as more aggressive, and they are seen as a threat to white women because these people are racist. So because of that, black trans women and trans women of color generally are going to have the hardest time dealing with all this shit. Because not only do you have the intersection of transphobia and racism when it comes to the oppression that you see and the bullshit you have to deal with in terms of like systemic racism, but you also have like the sociological kind of impacts when it comes to racism and like you not passing as well or whatever. So the fact that she's white does help a lot. Anyway, I don't know why I haven't been listening to music this whole time. This video is Connor Callout as Eli Frosty. Thanks so much for the support. Hope you stay poggers and yeah. Good job. If you'd like to be the next Connor Callout, all you can do is follow me on Twitter at ConnorCC, retweet my video links when they go live. Remember to subscribe to the channel, put all notifications on with the bell, leave a like if you'd like. Comment something down below about how exposure to trans people to the general population is probably going to be one of the best ways to make people be less pieces of shit when it comes to trans issues, because that seems to be actually the case. And enjoy the life you have. Okay.